We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Space coconut.
So the devs did a thing. Now we're going to talk about it really quick. I already watched the video. We're going to add clips of it into this video as we cover some of the important things. So, the clown update. Kicking things off, the clown is receiving some changes in the upcoming mid-chapter, introducing the afterpiece antidote. This new throwable bottle shatters, releases a delayed yellow gas. Once the gas activates, anyone who steps in the gas receives a 10% movement speed bonus. Like your tonic, this effect lingers for a few seconds after leaving the gas. You can swap between tonics and antidotes by tapping the active ability button at any time. I think it's instant. Some of the video that they showed that it was instant. I was expecting a long switch like they had for the doctor, but thankfully it looks pretty quick. Let's see. It'll cure any negative status effect from the afterpiece tonic, so you'll want to be careful where you throw them. They may make you faster, but a poorly thrown bottle will make survivors faster as well. Or you may want to lure a survivor, blah, 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 blah. And tactics things are trying to make them more interesting to use. If the gases collide, they'll neutralize each other and disappear. We also recognize that every second counts. That's why we've reduced the time taken to reload your bottles to 3 seconds, down from 5. Reloading will give you 4 bottles in any combination. You don't need to reload tonics and antidotes separately. So it just says, like at the bottom right of this picture, right? We'll pretend that those are bottles. You have 5 bottles, you throw a bottle, you have 4 left. You switch to the other mode, you still have 4 bottles left and you can throw one. That's what they're saying. So the clown, his biggest problem was map mobility. It wasn't the chase, right? Using up your power to traverse the map. This sounds like the nurse kind of, doesn't it? I'm not sure that it's such a good idea. I feel like they might have had an idea or two that were probably better than this one. In the same way that, I forgot the name of it. That perk where you kick a generator and you run away and they can see the aura. Elmo liked to say that it was going to create interesting gameplay because a survivor could see which gen you kicked and would there'd be some fun gameplay in there because they didn't know from which direction you were coming from or if you were coming towards them at all. This is the same mindset he's having here. They expect players to play a certain way with the clown and try and use the bottles to lure them into an area or guide them away from an area, which I suppose is possible, but they didn't address what was making him less effective. His chase game is perfectly fine. He can do really, really well in the chase. I'm not so sure that this is like I guess with the less time to reload the bottles. As long as you save yourself 1 or 2 after you traverse a map using the tonic or the antidote, if you use that as a speed boost to get to the other side of the map, and then you have 1 or 2 bottles left to slow survivors when you find them, and then reload once you catch them at a loop, I suppose that'll work. But using the speed boost in a chase, I suppose could be good. You'd also have to know, what, clown mains are going to have to learn the timing on that. This one is questionable. Offhand, I really can't tell you if this is a good change or a bad change. Well, okay. Any improvement, any change on top of what he had before is an improvement. So this is an improvement. Whether it's a really good improvement or not, I guess only time is going to tell. It's not exciting, right looking at it, but it'll probably be fine. They say they've done an add-on pass on him also, so we'll have to find out what those look like. Moving on. This is the fun one. The HUD update. Out with the old and in with the new. We've got some fond memories of the in-game HUD, but after years of additions, we felt that it was time to rebuild it from the ground up. Seeing is believing, blah, 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 blah. Now, the HUD is an aesthetic choice. It's something that, it's a visual thing. So I'm a graphic designer. I got a degree in graphic design, kind of. And so this irks me, all right? There are 2 issues with this. The number one thing is, who was complaining about the UI? Who was complaining about the UI? Were there other things that were... Okay, even if there were other things in the game that people were complaining about, whoever does this sort of stuff isn't working on that other stuff. So they're trying to do something new, right? Here's the problem. There are a lot of people who are going to say that this is fine, that they've played other games that have the information spread around and it was just fine. Now the problem is that those type of games have maybe more going on. We don't have as much going on in Dead by Daylight as people think there is. It's literally just information, right? In the old HUD, we had to look at one spot on the screen to find all of the information. And they made these widgets and then they put them all over the screen. The gen count at the top center, the power in the bottom left, and the button you need to use it. And it's redundant. It looks like we have one in the dead center and then one on the icon itself. So, I mean, there's one twice for some reason. This hook counter, we'll talk about that separately because that's an issue. The portraits and the names, I suppose. I mean, I think the portraits themselves might have been a good change. Some people are showing the icons from the game, the white ones, or the white portraits. I'm getting distracted. They could have done this minimalist widget aspect. Ms. Coconut came in and scared the crap out of me. So I forgot where I was at, but let's talk about... Okay, so the old UI had everything in one part of the screen. You only had to look at the bottom left to see all of the information. Okay, a quick glance is all you needed for different things. The perks are the same. In the video, the girl talked about creating different widgets so they could do whatever they wanted with those. Now the problem is, well, not problem, but the question I have is, why couldn't they apply those widgets in the same form they had before? Or, even create an option where we can have the old layout. They created the scaling thing, which I guess is a thing, but give us an option to have the new HUD stuff in the old layout. That would be a nice compromise, wouldn't it? Because for those people who are used to having it in the bottom left, they don't have to have this period of adjustment trying to learn, this where these different things are. And I mean, people have a different play style. I end up looking down at the ground so that it doesn't matter. It's subjective. That's the word I was looking for. The new UI is subjective. Some people are going to like it, some people are going to hate it, right? And I mean, since it's a stylistic choice, why not give players the option to, either use the new layout or have a button and switch to the old layout using the new visuals? How about that? I mean, I don't mind that I don't think it's a bad thing that they tried to update the UI. I just don't like how they spread it all around. The bigger issue here that I want to talk about is the new hook counter. They specifically say, where is it? Next to each survivor's portrait, you'll find a hook counter, but that is only for survivors. The killer doesn't get to see the hook counter for some reason. I'm really curious to know why. The second part, this is the part that bothers me. Killers will have a meter showing their hook progress to give them an idea of how well they are doing. Now, they're specifically counting the number of hooks, saying that the better you do means the more hooks you get. Now, I don't know if you know how I play, but this sucker isn't going to get past, 4 or 5 very often. They could have accomplished the same thing by giving the killer the ability to put the hook counters on the survivors. Now, if you're going to sit there and say that it's the killer's job to keep track of it and they should know which survivor they hooked and which survivor they didn't, well then, can't the survivor player do the same thing? This is kind of a hint and kind of a play into how they want killers to play the game, right? They don't want killers to be able to take out a survivor early. They want the killer to hook everybody at least once, so everybody gets a turn on the hook, right? So everybody can play the game. And while it sounds nice, right? Some people don't play like that. But this hook counter is just annoying. And seriously, in the old layout, all you'd have to do is move it down and to the right, or right above, or right next to the generator icon. It's pretty simple. Old icon stuff. The UI, I keep saying it UI, the UI isn't bad. The new layout isn't bad, but give us an option to switch to the old layout if we want, using the new graphics. As for the hook counter thing, they're not going to change this, but I think it's more annoying than anything else that this is a symbol of them telling you you're doing bad if you're slugging all the survivors. You're doing bad if you one hooked or camped this person. Well, I guess technically that's true. Anyway, moving on. The animation stuffs, I kind of don't care. Matchmaking, rating, and rank rewards. Now this one's kind of a big deal. We're gonna see if they manage to fix matchmaking. If they have, if this new matchmaking system works, then you're gonna want to go back to my old matchmaking videos talking about the system to see how it's going to impact the game. The devs are either going to be surprised by the data and ignore it, or they're going to be surprised by the data and we're going to start seeing changes that are going to make the balance of the game better. So we'll see what happens. Rank awards, everybody gets reset to 20 and then goes back up to 1. So unfortunately, okay, for players like me, if you don't play by the rules set in the game, right, and you just focus on getting your kills, it's going to be harder to get to rank 1 in the period of time, since we're starting at the very end. Well, I guess it's been a really long time since I've been at 20, so we have no idea how long it's going to take a player to get to 1. I guess we'll see. Rank rewards, period, are fine. This is an improvement. The fact that you can do this for Survivor and Killer is very good. It's incentive for people to try and do both roles. I'm still not gonna, because 250,000 blood points is not worth it, but it's a good thing. The rank rewards, it's fine. They could be better, but I mean, this is good. Who cares, right? Graphics update, they look good. I like the brightness on the game, actually. So all of those look really good. Now, so the Wraith, the True Invisibility, I called this one. We knew it was going to work like Freddy's Pill Bottle, where he's going to be completely invisible a distance away, kind of visible between, and then once he's close, it's going to be the same as it is now. I don't think very many people were surprised by this change. It's going to allow him to sneak up on survivors from a distance easier, which is going to be good. And then he's going to be relatively unchanged nearby. So it should be fine. It should be pretty good. Depending on your approach, it actually could be better, couldn't it? Depending on the situation, it could really be better. Okay, so the Trapper. Now, I'm going to share the video on this one.
Is the Trapper's trapped? I don't know how many of you have done the math, but if you have a 25% chance to escape from a trap, that's only like a 60% chance to escape in the first 4 times. It's around 60. Somebody's going to quote me on it being wrong because it's 63 or whatever, but
around that. Yeah.
It's around that. And you have a 10% chance of still being in the trap after like 10 attempts. It doesn't feel good. So we've changed it so that now it will take 1 to 6 attempts. When you step in the trap, we choose whether it be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, and then that's how many times it will take. So it's never going to take more than 6. This does mean that your rough chance of escaping each time is 16%. So the first attempt is going to be a little less likely, but it will never go to the long tail on the other side either. So on the whole, it's going to be better for everybody.
The text says previously you would have had blah, 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 3 chance, da, 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 da. This change, specifically, Almo says, this change is better for everyone. Now let me ask you, in what way is this change better for the Trapper when the number of attempts is still able to be 1? If it can still take them 1 attempt at the bare minimum to escape, how is this overall an improvement for the Trapper? Now, it sounds like they gave survivors number-wise, I'm not sure what it means, right? Maybe the numbers make it so the 1%, the first first attempt is less likely to release the survivor. Well, if that's the case, then that's an improvement. I can't tell though. But I mean, the fact that they can still get out on the first one, I don't know. I don't like it. It doesn't change something for the trapper. However, this still doesn't take care of his biggest problem, which is having to go and collect his traps, which is how many traps he can hold, which is, in my opinion, the fact that survivors can disarm his traps in the first place. So, I mean, while we're, stepping forward little by little for the trapper, I still think he's got some ways to go. I'm really interested to know if this is an improvement for the trapper or if this is simply an improvement for the survivor, the number of attempts to escape. So either way, they're working on it. So I guess we should, we're kind of glad that way. But yeah, we'll see. They reduced the timer on deep wounds, which is going to be interesting. Diversion, they're going to be able to use this more often, which is going to be funny. Fixated, I guess they got a buff to this, so it's going to be good. Congratulations. Hex Undying. Now, the change with Hex Undying, you know what? This is what a compromise looks like. It's I don't like hexes. They're unreliable. Survivors can cleanse them. You can still get your hexes cleansed at the beginning of the match. It's still not worth it to me, no matter how strong Undying was with Ruin specifically. Because it was strong with Ruin, and the majority of players were just tying it with Ruin because of the token issue, they decided to nerf it. They decided to nerf it, right? This is fine. So Undying is going to only be able to revive one hex totem out of the ones that you use. So if you use Hex Undying, it's going to benefit you to use fewer totems, which people who were using Hex Undying and Ruin, they're probably going to still do it. They can still get some value out of it before it dies. But I guess we'll see. I don't think it's a nerf, right? It can't revive hexes more than once, which is unfortunate for my favorite hex build, but oh well. That hex build will still work. Actually, I think that hex build will still work. I like using Hex Undying, Devour Hope, and Haunted Grounds. That's my favorite build to use with Undying. And with Undying working the way it does, I think it will still work the same way. I just get one less use out of it. Just one. So that's not bad. For my build, that's not bad. Anyway, it's going to actually make my build better because now the tokens on the destroyed totem, if it has tokens on it, it's going to stay. And that's the compromise. They made Hex Undying be able to retain the tokens from other hexes, but its ability to restore them is reduced. That's a compromise. We sacrifice some strength on it to get some strength on a different side, and I kind of like the change. I kind of like it. I do think that I do wish that they would do this more often. If they improve something, make it weaker on another side. If they weaken something, make it better on the other side. I do wish that they would do this more often. This Hex Undying change actually feels fair. May not like it, may not be everything we want, but that's what a compromise is. And I think it's very, very important that I say that this is a good compromise. And I would really, really like to see them do this more often with other perks. Maybe Decisive Strike. Iron Maiden, they increased it from 4 seconds. 15. It was 4 at first, I think, and then they upped it to 15. So now it's 30 seconds. I don't know. It's still useless. You're still not going to find them in that period of time. I've noticed, for me, the notifications, I don't get the auras or the scream things very often if they're outside of a range or something. I don't get a notification. I don't know if that's just me or if it's a bug or if I'm doing something wrong. But Iron Maiden gives you a notification, and I don't really get that. But by the time you get to that spot, they could be long gone. So, 30 seconds with just a notification? I don't know. Iron Maiden could still be meh. Open-handed? I don't know. Second Wind? Buff. All in all, none of this was bad. It's very important to state that none of this were bad changes, right? The HUD change is just annoying more than anything else. And like I said before, I think the biggest thing is that I hope they allow players to have access to the old layout with the new options. The matchmaking, very big deal. Hopefully it works this time, and then we'll go from there. The graphics updates, yay. True invisibility for the Wraith, that's going to be fun to play with. The Trapper stuff still needs more work. I want to know what the numbers are here. If overall survivors' attempt chances are lower or higher. Deep wound, shortened it. Okay. So just a bunch of different things. You know what? In all, I was really worried. I thought I was going to be making another one of my better videos this time, but you know what? These changes actually feel pretty good. Okay, they're not bad changes. Some of them are just annoying. And I mean, how often is it that I get to make a relatively positive video for the game? So it's a nice change of pace for me. So after reading through it, it didn't seem too bad. I'm going to check out what other creators say about it, and we'll go from there. But I guess the only thing we have to worry about now is the game going to actually run when the mid-chapter patch goes live? I guess we'll see about that. That'll be a whole different issue altogether. Yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know let me know what you think below. Yeah, I guess I'm done. I'm gonna go to work. You guys have a good one. You have a good day. Check out the video I released today. It's pretty important. It's pretty important if you've been bullied in the games or you're feeling bad about playing killer in Dead by Daylight. So check that out. That's a good one. But in the meantime, you guys have a good one.